Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go. Hey, before we get started on today's episode, I want to share two opportunities that are on Of the West right now. If you are looking for something in the livestock, equipment, or equine sectors of the industry, then this might be right up your alley. Over the last few months, we have been working with the American Society of Agriculture Appraisers and the American Society of Equine Appraisers to get more people interested in becoming equine, livestock, and equipment appraisers. The role of an appraiser is somebody who provides valuations as they're needed for bank appraisals, attorney and litigation appraisals, accountant appraisals, tax purposes, insurance appraisals, and government entity appraisals like for the IRS or USDA, that type of thing. As an appraiser, you have the stability and flexibility that comes with owning your own business. So you can work part-time, full-time, as much as you like, as little as you like. You can make it a side hustle. You don't actually work for the American Society of Agriculture or Equine Appraisers. They're just simply the organization that you join to become a qualified industry appraiser. You work for yourself. Regardless of if you're interested in becoming an equine appraiser, a livestock appraiser, or an equipment appraiser, you do have to have at least 5 years of experience in that specific sector of the industry. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to ofthewest.co and search for appraiser, and those two opportunities will come right up. Or you can grab the link to each of those in our show notes because we made them really easy for you guys to grab. But either way, this is a really great opportunity. And like I said, it's something that you can do part-time, full-time. You can do it as a side hustle. There's full flexibility, which is really important for those of us who live in rural America and who have ag and Western operations or obligations that we also have to work around. Like I said, if you're interested in learning more, you can go to our website or you can grab the link in our show notes. And hopefully that's something you guys are interested in. Welcome to today's episode. And this is one of our solo episodes. And I'm going to be quick on this one because I've got to go run and pick up my kids. But I have a few different things that I want to share. One is the answer to a question that I've gotten quite often in the last few months about podcast episodes and why I don't mention jobs on the podcast. So I do really quickly want to answer that. Obviously, we have Of the West. It is a job platform. So yeah, I completely understand. Jessie, why don't you talk about open jobs that are on the site in the podcast? That would make perfect sense. But the problem with that is, let's say that a job gets posted today. I don't necessarily know how long that job is going to be on the site. It may say that it's going to be there for 30 days. But if that job gets a pile of great applicants in the first 3 days, somebody might hit the pause button on that to go through those applications, and they may take an interview and they may give somebody a job. So then by the time that I record this, that job is then actually not on the site anymore because it's been filled. And then I give you guys the false hope that you were so excited about this job that I mentioned on the podcast, and then it wasn't there. So to quickly answer that question, that is why it really does kill me, because I do want to be able to talk more about the opportunities that are on the site, but just with the timeliness of getting episodes recorded and knowing that with these solo episodes, we do those 2 weeks in advance, and then not necessarily knowing the true lifespan of how long a job will be on the site. It's one of those things that I wish that there was a way to make it work, but unfortunately there is not. But that being said, if you guys are in the market for a new opportunity, I highly encourage you guys to go create your user account. It's absolutely free. You can also set job alerts for different types of positions, locations, you name it. You can set an alert to where when that type of position or a position that matches those specific keywords is on the site, you'll get an email notification about it. If you subscribe to our newsletters, we have a Western Sports and Equine newsletter, we have a livestock industry newsletter, and we have a marketing and communications newsletter. Those go out every other week. So marketing and communications goes out on a Tuesday. Western Sports and Equine goes out on a Tuesday, and livestock goes out on a Wednesday, and they alternate. So they get sent every other week. But that is a great way to get those jobs. We also have another newsletter called Changemakers, and that is more on the leadership side of things, job opportunities. That's maybe my personal favorite. And Changemakers actually comes out on the first Friday of every month. So it is a little bit different, but You can sign up for one of those. You can sign up for all of them. If you get on our email list, we'll send you a follow-up email where you can subscribe to those. And then, of course, make sure that you're following us on social. Our marketing team is absolutely amazing. They do a fabulous job at sharing job opportunities in stories, in Instagram posts, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, anywhere and everywhere on social, with the exception of TikTok. You can find us. We share job opportunities. So those are really great ways to make sure that you are aware of the types of opportunities that are on of the West. Okay, so now I want to get to the meat of what today's podcast is about. And it's a little trick that I use to settle my mind. And I'm not talking about settling my mind in the sense of when I am really stressed or in like high anxiety situations, more so settling my mind when it comes to productivity. So I'm going to paint a picture for you guys. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because I actually had to do this just this morning. And it is the silliest, like stupid easy task. But I tell you what, 100% of the time, it absolutely works. So, okay, let me go back to painting this picture for you. I am somebody, and I can imagine that a lot of you listening are like this. Obviously, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. We have a ranch. We have a business. I have a personal life. And it can be really hard to compartmentalize all of that. And so every now and then, my brain feels like my internet browser where I have like 50 different tabs open. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. And we can all relate to the fact that it can be really hard to concentrate when you have 50 different tabs open in your brain. The other analogy that I like to use here is my brain kind of feels like a pinball machine, right? I need to make sure that I order tags. I have to sign Jackson up for her preschool roundup. I have to make sure that I send this email. And I also need to work on this automation and make sure that that flow is working. And we have this employer that I need to follow up with because I emailed him 2 weeks ago and I said that I would email him. And I need to make sure I talk to our web team about this thing that somebody had emailed me about earlier in the day. And gosh, I need to make sure that I ordered cat food and paper towels. And my brain is in this series of, did I do this? I need to do this. I can't forget to do this. And I am like a hamster on a wheel or a silver pinball in a pinball machine. And I am just going back and forth and back and forth. And I can tell you, I'm not getting anything accomplished. So this is the type of settling my mind that I am talking about. And when I have this happen, which is honestly probably like once a quarter, I also notice that this will happen to me when I come back from traveling for a while, where I have been out of the office, away from my kids, away from the ranch, and I have a pile of things that I need to get done or play catch up on. So to kick things off, I get a blank piece of paper. It can either be a sheet of paper out of our printer, it can be a blank notebook page, and I write down every single thing that is on my mind. Every random thing that comes to my mind, in the order that it comes, I will write down, I need to buy cat food. I need to finish this employer workflow in our email provider. I need to check in with Sarah to make sure that next week's emails are written. Anything that I need to do, I write it down. And I don't worry about the order in which it comes out because I'm going to get to that. The whole point of this piece of the exercise is just getting everything out of my brain. And once I do that, it is like I have this instant mental clarity and calmness comes over my brain because everything that I was thinking, I can't forget to do this. I have to remember to do this. Did I do this? Somebody needs this for me. There's no way that I can be productive when I'm worried about all of that. So I get it all out and I get it on paper. And sometimes, it may take me 30 minutes to do all of that. It may take 10 minutes, but I dedicate as much time as needed to get every single thing out of my mind. Okay, so the next step is compartmentalize and prioritize. And those two words are kind of similar, but also they're a little bit different. And they are a key piece of this next step. So if I was just going to prioritize this brain dump list that I have, obviously something like me needing to follow up with that employer that 2 weeks ago when I first talked to him and I said on XYZ date, I'm going to follow up with you again. And that date happens to be tomorrow. Yeah, obviously that is going to jump to the top of the priority list. But then I can guarantee you that things like buying dog food and paper towels and, whatever else little shopping list type tasks that I have are going to end up on the bottom of the priority list. But those are really easy just to knock them out. So I've found it works best if, again, I get a couple sheets of paper out or I maybe, rip them in half, whatever it is. And I have a list for personal things. Usually that's also family stuff, like my mom tasks, if you will. I have one for the ranch. I have one for Of the West. And I also have a for later list. And this list is the stuff that, yes, it's important, but it's not a right now. So then I take that big brain dump random list that I had and I compartmentalize and really organize those tasks in, okay, this is an Of the West thing. It needs to go over on this Of the West list. This is a mom thing. It needs to go over on the mom list. And so I whittle that initial brain dump list down and already I'm feeling 10 times better because I went from getting all of that chaos out of my mind, which made me feel amazing. But then I had this brain dump list, which was also a little bit overwhelming, although it was far less overwhelming than when it was just the pinball in my brain. So when I take that brain dump list and I'm able to prioritize it, I realize, okay, there's not as much on each of these individual lists as I thought there was going to be. And it's really easy just to knock out, okay, well, I'm going to get on Amazon right now as I'm walking out to my car to get whatever it is. And I'm going to make sure that I buy the dog food and I buy those paper towels. And just like that, I've crossed some of those things off of my list, which, 30 minutes before was just running around in my brain. And I was just thinking about it, but I wasn't ever acting on it because there was so much chaos in there. And again, that for later list, like I said, a lot of those tasks that I've written down may be things like, in the future, I need to think about this, or I need to go research this, or I need to read about this. So they're not necessarily right now tasks, but again, it's so important to get them down on paper, have them on my desk so that when I do have time, I can look at that later list and I say, okay, I could get to this today or tomorrow or sometime this week. And then I'm able to slowly whittle down on that list as well. And again, you guys, I know this is the silliest little trick, but when you feel like you have 10,000 tabs open in your brain, or you have that little middle pinball that is just bouncing off each side of your mind, this is the tried and true way for me to get it out of my mind, to calm down, and to really put me at ease, and also actually act on all of those things instead of just thinking, oh, I can't forget to do this, then I can't forget to do this. Obviously, I want to encourage you guys to do this in whatever way is going to be best for you. But I have found for me personally, I am a writer. I love a written to-do list. That is just who I am. Writing things down just as they come out of my brain is really, really cathartic for me. So again, do it in whatever way you find most beneficial. Writing is that to me. But that is, like I said, my tried and true way for really quieting my mind, settling things, getting productive, getting back in my groove, and really feeling like I can take on the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the weeks to come. I hate to end this so quick, but I do. I've got to run. I've got to go grab my kids. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If this is something that you're already doing, definitely let me know in your stories, or if you're excited about this little trick, definitely let me know. I want to hear from you guys. You guys really are the best about popping things in your stories, and I will tell you, anytime I get tagged in one or see one, it absolutely makes my day. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And with that, we will see you back here next week.
If you've loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.